Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome back to Pagan Tales. Today we are looking at Dionysus. He was the Greek Olympian god of wine, winemaking, vegetation, agriculture, orchards and fruit, pleasure, fertility, madness, religious ecstasy and frenzy, theater, and civilization. Rather interesting, well rounded components coming there together. And the fact that it culminates in being a god of civilization, it does denote that he is as much as he is associated with the wilds and with perhaps cutting loose, perhaps even in extreme ways, the fact of the matter is that because that is able to happen at all, is because there actually is a stabilized structure in which people are able to think beyond the mere survival of the immediate moment. So, if you that description's caught you as curious, that's my own take on why it applies. His parents are Zeus, king of the gods, and the mortal Semele, who was daughter of Cadmus, king of Thebes. And Dionysus was known to the Romans as Bacchus. And I'm aware there is a debate amongst Hellenistic and Romanistic circles about whether or not their gods are one and the same. I consider myself out of outside of that argument. I don't really, as a general rule, connect with any of these gods either in either cultural context, and I consider the arguments of who they are, whether these are the same gods, different names, or what the situation might be. I consider that an argument for other people to have. So, moving on. Let's discuss this battle of the sexes that Dionysus sparked, because he did enjoy greater popularity amongst women than he did men. And it's been pointed out that, unlike the stories of other Olympian gods, Dionysus was actually known for rescuing a woman and then elevating her to a higher status than she enjoyed before. And the lady he rescued was none other than his mother Semele. After she died, he rescued her from the underworld. And then after that, he took her to Mount Olympus. She became immortal, likely to the supreme irritation of Hera, who, along with Zeus, did play a role in Salome's demise. So, because of this story and because of his general gentler, the appeal towards the pleasures of life, I think it's quite natural that women did take that stronger interest in Dionysus, especially as he did offer them a respite from their daily labors and daily responsibilities. His followers, who are women, were known to retreat into wild and to remote areas, sometimes even the mountains, in order to commune with him. So let's talk about the Dionysus like men, because Dionysus does also represent a very powerful male archetype. The one who is passionate, full of life, the prophet or the madman. And you might think of artists, entertainers, the religious yet fun loving men, visionaries, they all have Dionysus like traits. And there are beneficial and baneful manifestations of those traits within men, particularly depending upon the moral compass of the man in question and how he conducts his affairs generally. And so, either way, because you can't always tell which side of that coin a man's going to fall on if he fits within this archetype, it does give women legitimate cause to exercise a bit of extra caution, especially to the same degree that they might experience attraction to him. Because until you can be sure of who he is, there is a lot of efforts to not get lost in the heatiness of your own emotions and to take a sober look at what his character really is, because you really do need to know. So, moving on to the harvest, Dionysus's link with the harvest isn't merely with what the harvest produces and the fact that life can continue to be sustained. He represents the celebration of all of that. He's less the spirit of, carefully stocking the pantry and making sure all preparations for winter are made. And he's more of the spirit of being glad that there's actually something there to stock. And isn't this wonderful? And we're going to have thrilling parties throughout the winter every so often because we actually do have all of this bounty. And to my mind, he really encourages taking the time to be glad of what we do and not treating the culmination of our efforts, as if it was any other day. It is special. Make the most of it. Don't downplay it. So we have a few correspondences for this deity. The solar system, he's associated with Earth, with what I think are very obvious reasons that we've already discussed. And of course, with the zodiac signs of Taurus and Capricorn. It's interesting that he's not associated with Virgo, especially, once we get into Virgo season, that also in many climates, that's correlates with, when the grapes are coming into fruition, when they need to be harvested, whether they're being made into juice or whether they're being made into grown-up juice known as wine. So I did find that an odd thing that was left out. So make of that what you will. If you're interested in him, this might become a point of research. Um, He's associated with the season of autumn, the celebrations Mabon and Yule. But really, if you do connect strongly with Dionysus, I think you could justify reaching out to him to all of the major celebrations really around the year, just because his energy in one form or another is kind of felt there, but especially at harvest time. And then, just for the fun blowout of Yule before, we all just kind of retreat into our semi comatose, you know, becoming hermits during winter. I think that Yule is also a very good opportunity to connect with them. He's linked with the elements of earth and fire, the number five. Trees, think apple, beech, elm, fir, laurel, myrtle, pine, walnut. And for the urban garden, blackberry, bramble, I think it depends on what side of the pond you're on, which term you use on that. But if any of my British cousins are watching this, correct me if I'm wrong in that impression. Educate me. But also fennel seed, grapes, obviously ivy. He's associated with wheat. The crystal is the amethyst. His metal is silver. Animals in particular: bulls, donkeys, goats, horse, leopards, lions, lynx, panthers, sheep, specifically lamb and tigers. So, interesting array of both domestic and wild animals there. The reptile is the snake. That, of course, is a reference to his fertility. And I don't think we need further explanations of that. Just in case someone's young children are watching this, they can ask their parents about why, you correlate fertility with the snake if they're of an age to ask such questions. Then with marine life, the dolphin, the mythical creature he's associated with is the griffin. And of course, he has the powers as accomplishment, awakening, agriculture, business, comfort, creativity, energy, fertility, freedom, happiness, inspiration, marriage, sex magic, the other world, passion, pleasure, shamanic work, and travel. Now, if you do decide to work with him this season, or indeed at any time, some offerings you might bring to him are wine, especially red wine, meats, particularly beef, fruit, cakes, honey, incense, spices, poetry, song plays, anything that's fun and celebratory. I think you're on a pretty good track to being pleasing with him. So I hope that whets your appetite for getting to know Dionysus a little bit better. He's not quite as advertised, but I will leave you to your further investigations to get a better handle on that. In the meantime, if you have had personal experiences working with this particular deity, or you have impressions of your own you would like to share, please let me know in the comments. And I think that will do it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.